process through the World Pride Committee. They met all of the obligations, and the World Pride Committee endorsed them to move forward here. Because we have two bidders, what we will do based on our procedures and past precedent, we will go tomorrow with a vote for the majority vote, whichever gets the majority. Now each bidder will have up to 30 minutes to present. Both of them will present, and then afterwards they will each have 10 minutes of questioning that you can ask them any questions you like. Does everybody understand how we will proceed? Okay, I believe there was a coin toss, and Fort Lauderdale is going first to present. So if they would like to come up.
And I'm the president of Pride Fort Lauderdale. I'm proud to be here today to share with you why Greater Fort Lauderdale should be the host city for World Pride 2021 and the very first World Pride on the beach. We have quietly been working on this bid for a year and a half, and today is the big day, so we're so happy to share it with you. First, let me tell you a little bit about our history. Pride Fort Lauderdale was born out of protests in 1977. The city of Miami passed a landmark gay rights ordinance, one of the first in the entire country. This vote alarmed a good friend of ours, Anita Bryant, a former beauty queen and popular entertainer, who organized a hateful campaign to demonize gays. By demonizing gays and lesbians, she quickly gathered the signatures necessary to put the issue to remove that ordinance on the ballot. That referendum passed by nearly 2-to-1 margin. From this crushing defeat, the LGBTQI community in South Florida united in protest. These protests inspired what became Pride South Florida, the very first Pride in the state of Florida, now called Pride Fort Lauderdale. Our founders recognized the power of unity, and we became among the first organizations to join InterPride more than 25 years ago. Although Florida is predominantly a conservative state, Greater Fort Lauderdale has since flourished and become an oasis of diversity and acceptance. We boast the highest concentration of same-sex couple households in the United States, and we are rated among the most desirable places for LGBTQI seniors to retire. There are now hundreds of LGBTQI-owned businesses, like my own, with something fun and vibrant going on 7 nights a week. Last year, we welcomed more than 1.5 million LGBTQI visitors to South Florida, to Fort Lauderdale, actually. This February, Pride Fort Lauderdale celebrated its 40th anniversary for the very first time on Fort Lauderdale Beach. We attracted record participation from all segments of our community: lesbians, gay men, bisexual and transgender people, people of all races and religions, the leather and bear communities, seniors, families, youth, and allies who all gathered together to show their support for LGBTQI rights. It was an important moment, an important reminder of the progress our diverse community has made over the past 4 decades. We attribute much of this success to the lessons we learned from you. The lessons that we learned are what we call our Pride Tour. Over the past 2 years, we visited Pride festivals in over 40 cities in the United States, Canada, South America, and Europe. All at our own expense. We paid for them ourselves. We cobbled together a lot of frequent flyer miles, and hotel points, but we never spent 1 single cent from our organization. In each city, we not only promoted our festival, we also volunteered to show our support and solidarity. Most importantly, we learned the best practices for running a successful Pride from the best people, you guys. Those lessons paid off. The community rallied behind us. Corporate sponsors enthusiastically supported us. We came in under budget and generated a surplus of more than $128,000. We've been able to create a reserve fund, hire our first executive director, Natalie Tyler. Most importantly, we were able to distribute $10,000 in grants to our local community organizations. Like, actually, we have one of them here today, Trans Social, who helps people change their names, so thank you very much for that. Our organization is in its strongest financial position ever, and we are ready to host World Pride. But this can't happen alone. Our World Pride vision is shared by an incredible partner. It is my pleasure to introduce to you Richard Gray, Vice President for the LGBTQI market with the Greater Fort Lauderdale Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Thank you, Mike. I absolutely love Mike's passion. Greater Fort Lauderdale is the LGBTQI capital of Florida. We are one of the top 10 LGBTQI destinations in the United States and the #1 beach destination with 23 miles of gorgeous sandy beaches. Greater Fort Lauderdale prides itself on its diversity and inclusion. It is an integral part of our personality. It is who we are. We are the only Convention and Visitors Bureau tourist board in the world that has a designated department whose sole responsibility is to develop and grow LGBTQI tourism into Greater Fort Lauderdale. We were one of the very first destinations in the world to launch an LGBTQI marketing campaign 22 years ago. And very quickly, we found gold at the end of the rainbow, and we became pioneers. 3 years ago, we launched a historic transgender campaign. And on New Year's Eve, in New York City, we made history yet again, where we became the first destination in the world to launch a mainstream marketing campaign that included transgender, lesbian, gay, and straight people. We want all travelers to Greater Fort Lauderdale to experience a warm welcome, to feel safe, accepted, and respected. We have the experience and the knowledge as a community and a visitors bureau to host World Pride. To show our commitment, if you select Greater Fort Lauderdale to host World Pride 2021, we will support World Pride $2.25 million. Including a minimum of $750,000 for marketing and public relations. Marketing and PR is what we do best. We consistently receive awards from our industry for our creative and savvy campaigns. In partnership with Pride Fort Lauderdale, we will develop and execute a marketing and PR campaign to attract more than 1 million visitors from all over the world. World Pride 2021 in Greater Fort Lauderdale will be the largest event ever held in the state of Florida. Over the past year, I've had the opportunity to attend prides from New York City, Copenhagen, Copenhagen, and Madrid. I was absolutely amazed at the amount of work that you all do to make these incredible events happen, and all as volunteers. I really am in awe of your passion and your commitment, and it inspires me as a tourist board to do bigger and better things. In recent years, Toronto and Madrid have really put World Pride on the map. And I guarantee you that through our PR offices in New York City, Scandinavia, the United Kingdom, and Brazil, we will continue that momentum, especially coming on the heels of the huge success that World Pride in New York will be in 2 years' time. We have the complete support of the Greater Fort Lauderdale hotel industry, as well as all of our hospitality partners and our business community, who have embraced World Pride and will warmly welcome all of you and the world as our guests to Greater Fort Lauderdale. Now, I would like to introduce to you Captain Bill Schultz from the Fort Lauderdale Police Department, who will share with you how our community is experiencing hosting events of this magnitude.
Riptide and Tortuga music festivals, to the internationally televised Swatch Beach Volleyball Tournament, Fort Lauderdale Art Show, and of course our Great American Beach Party. The safety and security of our visitors is our first and foremost priority. Each year, I command and coordinate all public safety operations for over 600 events that occur within our city and throughout our community. Our team is prepared to work closely with Pride Fort Lauderdale to plan a Pride World Festival that is not only exciting, but most importantly, safe. We will be actively involved in planning and coordinating with all levels of public safety agencies throughout our nation and throughout our region. With recent tragic events here in America, as well as around the world, we recognize that providing public safety is an ever-evolving challenge. I assure you we are ready to meet that challenge. We are ready to provide you with a safe environment to enjoy this amazing celebration. On a personal note, I am a gay man who openly and proudly serves in an organization Our team would be honored to welcome World Pride 2021 to Greater Fort Lauderdale. Hosting a World Pride, an event of this scope, magnitude, and importance for the LGBTQI community has been a long-time dream of mine personally. We look forward to helping plan a one-of-a-kind celebration on Fort Lauderdale Beach. Let me now introduce to you our amazing mayor, Barbara Shreve.
Thank you, Captain Schultz. Let's give him another round of applause. Hello, I am Broward County Mayor Barbara Shreve. I am so proud to be here with you today to talk about this incredible community, our diverse community, my community. I have had the honor of serving as the very first African American, female, Muslim mayor in the United States. Elected twice by my 2 million residents and twice by my colleagues on the Broward County Commission. As you can see, our 2 million people of Greater Fort Lauderdale are indeed a vibrant community that celebrate diversity and inclusion in every way. We have been on the forefront of LGBTQ rights in the state of Florida. LGBTQ rights are human rights and should be respected no matter what part of the world you live in. You ask yourself, why should you select Greater Fort Lauderdale to host World Pride? What exactly makes us greater? First, it is our diversity. We are one of the most diverse counties in the United States. 58% of our population are minorities. 28% of our population is African American and Caribbean, including immigrants from Haiti, Jamaica, and other islands. 32% of our population is foreign-born, representing more than 100 countries around the globe. 79% of foreign-born residents are from Latin America, primarily of Cuban, Puerto Rican, Colombian, Central, and South American descent. Students in our public schools speak nearly 100 different languages at home.
Wow.
What makes us greater is our location. Our airport boasts major domestic and international low-fare carriers with hundreds of direct flights daily from the US, Canada, Latin America, the Caribbean, Scandinavia, Europe, and the Middle East. With us, the rest of the world is just 1 or 2 connecting flights away. By 2021, the new high-speed Brightline train service will connect Greater Fort Lauderdale with the Miami and the Palm Beach and Orlando areas. Our cruise port is the 3rd largest in the world, serving hundreds of thousands of passengers each year. What makes us even greater is our affordability. No matter what your home currency is, it will go much further at World Pride in Greater Fort Lauderdale. In addition to the new low-fare airlines at our airport and our other affordable transportation options, Florida has a low 6% sales tax, much lower than VAT in other countries. By 2021, we will have over 125,000 hotel rooms in South Florida. Many of those rooms are affordably priced. And then there are thousands of choices available on Airbnb, VRBO, and Mr. B&B. They told me no. What makes us greater is, most importantly, our commitment to World Pride. Greater Fort Lauderdale is known around the world for its hospitality. World Pride 2021 is our opportunity to roll out that rainbow carpet and warmly welcome millions of LGBTQI visitors to World Pride on our pristine beaches. What better way to educate the voters and the leaders of our conservative state and our current president. About the power and the influence of the global LGBTQI community. I think there's nothing greater. On a personal note, I am an advanced registered nurse practitioner who has cared from the early days, and I chose to care for those who were diagnosed with HIV and AIDS in our gay community. For over 2 decades, I've gone into homes and given care to those who were left behind, left out, or discriminated against. And I am someone who loves and embraces the LGBTQI community. It would be my honor and my pleasure to welcome World Pride 2021 to my inclusive and welcoming community of Greater Fort Lauderdale, where love reigns free.
She was going to be amazing. The more I talked to her, the more I realized how fortunate we are to have her. So I'm so happy that she decided to come here. But while World Pride on Fort Lauderdale Beach will be a memorable event, there's a much more important reason why you should select Greater Fort Lauderdale. South Florida is the gateway to the Caribbean and Latin America. Although we may still be fighting for our rights here in the United States, just a short distance away, in the Bahamas, Haiti, Jamaica, and some countries in Latin America, LGBTQI people are ostracized, jailed, and even murdered because of their sexual orientation or gender identity. South Florida has become a refuge for many of these people. Our own Sean Palacios, Kitty Meow from earlier, is a Bahamian gay man who chose Fort Lauderdale as his safe haven. Many people in these countries have never experienced a Pride festival, let alone a World Pride. World Pride 2021 will offer a unique opportunity to focus global attention to the discrimination and physical violence our family and friends in these countries face every single day. In the last 18 months, nearly 600 people lost their lives in anti-LGBTQI hate crimes in these countries. These changes must happen before another LGBTQI person in these countries is bullied or beaten just for being who they are. This is another reason why we must host World Pride 2021, as these atrocities are just too important to ignore. We are planning a strong international human rights conference focused on LGBTQI rights in these countries, along with shared issues faced by the transgender community, families, and seniors around the world. Further, the Southern Comfort Conference, one of the largest transgender conferences in North America, has agreed to reschedule its 2021 conference to coincide with World Pride. We are pleased to have Southern Comfort's Lexi D here with us today at our AGM this weekend. Thank you so much, Lexi. And this is the one I love the most. World Pride 2021 on Fort Lauderdale Beach will conclude with an iconic symbol of LGBTQI diversity and inclusion, the Colors of the World project. In the spirit of global unity, rainbow flags will be sent to prides around the world, labeled with their city and country, to be displayed and signed by their communities. These flags will be collected and assembled together to create a massive, record-breaking rainbow flag that will be unfurled during the World Pride Parade. Imagine spectators being able to proudly point to their city or country as it is represented on this massive flag, while the world takes note of the strength and reach of the LGBTQI community around the globe. As you can see, we have an incredible team in place. Our county, our city, and our entire community have come together to pledge their unconditional support for our bid. We've been encouraged by our sister Pride organizations from New York, Boston, to Los Angeles and San Francisco to be here today. In closing, I would like to ask each of you to vote for Greater Fort Lauderdale to host World Pride 2021. Our volunteers are passionate, enthusiastic, and determined to make a change in global LGBTQI rights. We believe in team spirit and unity. I hope you will agree that Greater Fort Lauderdale would be the perfect place to host World Pride 2021, a welcoming place of love and respect where diversity truly shines. Now I'd like to introduce our team and the prides that will be partnering with us to produce World Pride. Did you guys come down? Miami Beach Pride, Wilton Manor Stonewall, Pride Festival of Palm Beaches, Key West Pride, Gay Ocho, Caribbean Pride, Pride Lions, Florida Youth Pride Coalition, the Southern Comfort Transgender Conference, and the Greater Fort Lauderdale Gay and Lesbian Chamber of Commerce. Together, I'll make sure our whole group gets up here. By the way, this is not our pride, it's our pride, it's everyone. We're all doing this to work together to make this happen. Together, we are all committed to make World Pride Greater Fort Lauderdale a tremendous success and help expand the rights of the global LGBTQI community. I thank you so much for your time and appreciate you allowing us to bid for this amazing event. Thank you so much.
Okay, wow. So while everybody is seating, let's stretch, move your fingers, and take a deep breath. And we're going to see the next presentation from Copenhagen. Right.
Keeping it 100. Or not. Or not. Or after.
Dear friends, can you hear me? Is this working? Yes. Yeah. It's so exciting for me to finally be able to present to you the visions for World Pride in Copenhagen 2021. My name is Lars, my pronoun is he, and I'm the chairperson of Copenhagen Pride. And with me here on stage is Ane Random, pronoun she, from the Copenhagen Pride Board. I would like to start by thanking the World Pride Committee and all of you who are present in this room, who've been involved with encouraging words, ideas and advice in getting us to where we are today, where I believe we present not only one of the most detailed, but a very visionary World Pride bid that draws closely on the experience and inspiration that Copenhagen has from organizing World Out Games in 2009, as well as Madrid World Pride 2017, and all the aspirations of Stonewall 50. Three years of work have built up to me standing here today, starting from when the first ideas were brought before the Copenhagen Pride Board. 3 years which we used to ensure that the Copenhagen 2021 bid has the full backing of the entire Danish LGBTQIA community and all of Denmark, from the top of our government to the smallest community group under the acronym. You must have a special reason to bid for a World Pride. 2021 is not just any year for us. When we bid for 2021, it is because we in this year celebrate a staggering 5 significant jubilees amongst the many first moves of the Danish LGBTQIA community, which broadly cover the acronym. We celebrate the 70th anniversary of the world's first successful gender-confirming surgery. In 1951, Jorgensen, after initial hormone treatment, was given permission from the Danish Ministry of Justice for surgery. The 50th anniversary for the founding of the Danish chapter of the Gay Liberation Front in 1971. For us, a potent frontrunner for the modern pride movement in Denmark. The 40th anniversary for the unilateral decision by the Danish government in 1981 to remove homosexuality from the list of mental illnesses, thus paving the way for the WHO to follow in 1990. We also celebrate the 25th anniversary of Copenhagen Pride, born out of the spectacular EuroPride celebrations in Copenhagen in 1996. And we celebrate the 15th anniversary of the decision to grant equal access to all women to assisted insemination and egg transplants, removing the previous restrictions for lesbians and single women. As you see, 2021 is the year for us to celebrate World Pride. No other year will simply do. And it is with the direct intention to use these landmarks to champion LGBTQIA rights globally that we today make a bid for 2021. An impression of our beautiful, safe, diverse and inclusive city. Please enjoy this little promotional film we've created to invite you into the spirit of Copenhagen 2021.
What is love? Love is everything and nothing.
In Copenhagen, you'll find love everywhere. And you are included.
In this city, love is love. Love is a moment, a kiss, a touch, a smile.
And a family.
Maybe a lifetime of togetherness.
Or a brief encounter. For me, love is to fight. For pride and for my rights.
I must never forget that moment in 1989 when Alice and I could put each other and all the other historic moments.
In 1981, Denmark recognized what I already knew. I wasn't mentally ill.
When I first came to Denmark, I could really be myself.
But in many places, we're still not included.
That's why we need to fight for love. We need to fight for our rights.
We need to fight for inclusion.
When Copenhagen 2021 hosts World Pride, it will be your pride.
Where everybody is welcome.
And where you are included.
To love, to be.
To love is to be included. In Copenhagen 2021, we expect a massive turnout. This year we had over 35,000 people marching in the Copenhagen Pride Parade and around 450,000 participants in Pride during the week. These numbers we expect to raise significantly in 2021 and to change Copenhagen and the entire region from harbourfront to suburb into one big Pride village, joined under the colours of the rainbow and under the stripes of our community flags. Copenhagen Pride Week 2017 ran for 5 days and covered more than 100 different organised events, from government pride receptions over pride parties in retirement homes to face painting workshops for kids before the parade. The entire city is just simply involved with pride. We annually present an extensive human rights program over 5 days, covering a variety of topics. This year's program looks like this, and it's available in our booth outside if you want to visit it, and it is in English. Can I then have this on?
Now it's
That stop moving. On the backbone of this strong... But there's no button to press. I'm the least technical person in the world. No. Well, nobody would stay in a corner. On the backbone of this strong human rights commitment, we plan to create for World Pride 2021 the most ambitious human rights conference the Pride movement has seen. For the planning of the conference, we have support from LGBT Denmark the national LGBT organization, and as a member of ILGA Europe, Copenhagen Pride is also able to draw on their network and expertise. Thirdly, we already hold an extensive knowledge from the World Out Games Human Rights Conference in 2009 in Copenhagen, and we will of course consult with the experience obtained by Madrid and New York City. The conference will take place at Palace Theatre, that you see over there, right in the city centre, which will also function as Pride House throughout the 10 days World Pride runs. It will also be the hub for registration, for exhibitions, for the Human Rights Conference, the Sports Leader Conference, and in the evenings serve as a movie theatre with an extensive programme of LGBTQIA films and documentaries in the 17 individual cinemas. Whoa. The square outside will be converted into a community area for our Democracy One-to-One feature, which serves to bring the topics of the conference out of the building and into the general public. In the Danish tradition of public democratic debate and easy accessibility to our decision makers, the conference must be made to involve the entire city. Because when people are informed, they cannot be prejudiced. All of Copenhagen should talk about LGBTI rights, not merely the registered participants in the conference. We will simultaneously be hosting Eurogames, the largest annual LGBTQIA sports tournament in Europe, with 25 plus different sports ranging from bridge to skiing, from individual sports to team sports. The sports program will help to set a focus on LGBTQIA health issues as well as homophobia and transphobia in sports. Our aim is to connect groups in our community so that the athletes are talking about human rights, the partygoers attend sports tournaments and understand the importance of healthy living, and the hardcore human rights activists join the parties that are also a vital part of a World Pride. We're planning to also host a selection of popular sporting events open to all, such as drag Olympics, roller skating through the city, bicycling workshops, skiing on the Copenhagen ski slope, and rainbow family sports. To give you a little taste of what we're planning for Copenhagen 2021, let me just list up a few of the ideas that we're working on. In this table, you can see some main features that we have plotted in over the World Pride period to make sure that no matter when you arrive and how long you stay for, there will be plenty to do at all times. We use the same approach when making sure that all parts of our community have balanced representation in our program, and we're committed to the pledge of making every individual feel included. It is important to state that this is of course a dynamic schedule that will be amended and adjusted many times more in the years to come before 2021, and that the events featured here are a fraction of all that we will have on offer. For the opening ceremony, we want a spectacular beach party style inauguration at Ophelia Beach, approximately 50 yards from the residence of the royal family. Ooh.
We envision that all delegations gather for pre-opening ceremony reception at the Royal Opera House, from where we plan to boat all participants the 200 yards across the harbour to the sand-covered Ophelia Beach. The opening ceremony here will feature an array of Danish and international artists, inauguration addresses by prominent speakers, all in a huge Danish-style beach party extravaganza. The parade is a popular Copenhagen event, with hundreds of thousands of Copenhageners and guests of all ages and backgrounds gather along the route to cheer the marchers as they make their way through the 5-kilometer route, that's about 3.5 miles, adorned with rainbow and glitter. We have all of Danish society represented in our parade, from the royal family, over politicians from all parties, to practically every Copenhagener, LGBT+ or ally. We're looking forward to giving the international delegations pride of placing
and branding in our parade. We also plan a Pride Mile along the famous Copenhagen shopping street, Strøget. We plan lawn parties in Tivoli Gardens, canal tours, you can take the sea away, with drag queen guides on the Copenhagen canals, VIP receptions at the Parliament and City Hall, trans and women's spaces, a gender-bending hamlet at Kronborg Castle, and many, many more ideas and events. In line with the Copenhagen Pride tradition, we encourage the whole city to join in and to transform the City Hall Square into a 10-day Pride village. And the medieval streets are joining it into fun and raunchy street parties with loads of happy people having a good time at pop-up stages, offering an abundance of performers as well as the closing ceremony. Every night on the square will offer a new, unique open-air concert experience, and in the nights the city should be awash with signature parties for all letters of the acronym, some separate as safe spaces, some as large community gatherings. It is important to state that all concerts, including opening and closing ceremony, are open to all and free of charge. Because a true pride in Copenhagen ensures access for all, regardless of income, background, or ability. It is part of our determination to be able to say to any and everyone that you are included.
Yeah. Copenhagen Pride as an organization has decided they're a feminist organization and that attention to power analysis, privilege, norm criticism and understanding of intersectionality must be at the core of our work. We're fully aware that inclusion does not just happen because we talk about it. To ensure that we're constantly visionary and ambitious on this, we've partnered up with some of Denmark's strongest activist voices on these issues and have formed a number of advisory committees which will constantly work to challenge us and hold us to a pledge of making Copenhagen 2021 the most inclusive World Pride in history. The committees are dynamic, meaning that more activists may join and more committees may be formed as needs are identified. Right now, they are an intersex committee, an asexual committee, a transgender committee, a women's committee, and an intersectional committee. Inclusion is also often closely linked to socioeconomic issues. We want to establish an outreach program of at least $1.1 billion to accommodate LGBTQIA activists and athletes from around the world who would not otherwise be able to afford to participate. To raise the money, we will partner with Philanthropic Foundation and use a mix of fundraising methods. In a world where nationalism is on the rise and borders are closing around us, creating a truly global event with the possibility of participation from all corners of the world requires foresight and a strong collaboration with authorities. We've already begun these talks with the Danish government, with police, and the intelligence community on how to make World Pride 2021 both accessible and safe to all. Drawing on the experiences from World Out Games 2009, we're not only aiming to create a false identities program for activists from regions where participating in events like this may be dangerous for them when they return. We're also planning to make visa applications as easy as possible to process, and we work with the authorities to streamline the process so that visas are granted as slippery and unbureaucratic as at all possible. Nobody is born homophobic or transphobic. Prejudice is acquired. Sexual education with mandatory inclusion of LGBTQIA issues is already obligatory in Danish education at all ages, from 2 to 20. But we determined to use World Pride 2021 as a launchpad to make activists of our children. Our educational program called What is My Pride will be rolled out in schools all over the greater Copenhagen region in the spring month of 2021 to get kids ready for World Pride. Targeting children 11 to 13, we will educate them about the Pride movement, allow them to identify with their own individuality and where that sometimes meet with constricted norms, and encourage them to picket for their rights to be themselves. Included in the legacy program are also ideas to name streets in newly built Copenhagen neighborhoods after LGBTQIA activists, to plan a World Pride forest where all international delegates plant a tree from the native region, and most importantly, our volunteers program, into which we plan to invest a lot, time, money, and effort. Copenhagen 2021 will require thousands of volunteers. We will develop an extensive educational program so that all who participate to create Copenhagen 2021 as a volunteer become more enlightened on LGBTQIA issues, inclusivity and norm criticism. We believe this to be the most important legacy we can leave to Copenhagen from World Pride, that the values of the Pride movement become the values of Copenhagen in and after 2021. We want this to be felt by all participants and allow all who've been in Copenhagen to travel home inspired, enriched and empowered.
To achieve all these ambitions, we also operate with an ambitious budget, which balances at approximately $14 million for the combined event, of which about 55% should be procured through public funding. It is with great pride and excitement that we can say that in the budget negotiations this fall, a number of municipalities across the greater Copenhagen region have already pledged themselves to realize this goal, as both Malmö, Roskilde and Frederiksberg have allocated funds, and the city of Copenhagen has promised that when, hopefully, we've been awarded the right to host tomorrow, they will be instrumental in raising 7 million of the total budget. This is supported by all 7 mayors of Copenhagen, who represent all parties elected to City Hall. We believe this to be a realistic budget, as we have the knowledge from World Out Games 2009 to draw on. It is our firm belief that this budget is not overly ambitious, but what is required to realize an event of this magnitude and with the professionalism we expect and which we owe to the brand of World Pride and to InterPride. We've already a year ago set up an office with 3 full-time staff and expect to expand this to approximately 17 staff as we move closer to 2021. As a city and a community, we have a long and broad experience with organizing mega events, and Copenhagen has formally been host city to InterPride, Eurogames, the Idaho World Conference, and World Out Games. Copenhagen 2021 enjoys broad support, from the head of the Danish government to the smallest activist group within our community. Denmark looks forward to hosting World Pride 2021. Please allow me to play this message from the Danish Prime Minister, Lars Løkke Rasmussen, himself a strong supporter of Pride.
Denmark has been at the forefront of LGBTI equality for decades. Ever since Denmark in 1989 became the first country in the world to legally recognize same-sex partnerships, Denmark has fought for the rights of LGBTI people, at home and abroad. In Denmark, a political consensus surrounds the issue of LGBTI rights. We passed the law on equal marriage in 2012, and in 2016, Denmark became the first country in the world to remove transgenderism from the list of mental illnesses. Copenhagen Pride is now bidding to host World Pride. InterPride is bidding to host Eurogames, and I am very happy to support them. Unifying World Pride and Eurogames in the same city for the first time ever will be incredible. I'm certain that the organizers will deliver a fantastic event. This year's Copenhagen Pride shattered all records. More than 35,000 people marched for equality. People of all sexual orientations, all genders, all colors, all religions, all of Denmark. And that is why I can promise you this. When people from all over the world come to Copenhagen in 2021 to take part in the celebration of love, freedom, sportsmanship, and LGBTI rights, you are included. We hope to see you in Copenhagen.
This support also comes from far around the world. Prides from all continents have expressed their support, and our sister prides in the Nordic region have stated that they regard the Copenhagen 2021 bid as a regional bid which they support wholeheartedly and which they believe will help to promote LGBTQIA rights in the entire region. All major cultural institutions in Copenhagen, from the National Museum to the Hamlet Festival at Kronborg, have expressed their support, and so has every activist organization on the Copenhagen LGBTQIA scene. Please allow me to introduce to you representatives of two of these who've traveled here to show their support. From InterPride, the Danish National LGBT+ Sports Federation, Lene Eriksen, and from Sabah, Moisha Adel.
I'm really happy to be given this opportunity to address the AGM of InterPride. I'm here to represent Pan-Idræt, long-time collaborating partner of Copenhagen Pride, Copenhagen 2021. As we are the organization that bids for Eurogames and who has the knowledge to organize spectacular sports events.
5 minutes.
We are really excited that we are able to do this as a joint event with World Pride, and it is our ardent wish that we, through the merger of the two events, can create something unique and transformative for all who participate. We strongly support Copenhagen Pride in this, and we have more than 1,000 members who back the aspiration of Copenhagen 2021.
Thank you to the IMG for allowing me this opportunity to express the full support from Sabah to World Pride in Copenhagen. We represent LGBT+ individuals with minority ethnic and predominantly Muslim background. And we see a World Pride in Copenhagen as a tool to address and talk about solutions to some of the challenges that are specific to our members. Being LGBT and Muslim is not always easy, but we need a platform, locally and global. Yeah, for that, sorry, I'm shaking because I'm nervous. For the debates about this, and a World Pride in Copenhagen can create that. Sabah has a strong and worldwide international network we will activate. And we know that Copenhagen Pride is ambitious when it comes to inclusivity. So we're looking forward to work with them to execute a great World Pride. Please vote for Copenhagen.
As it is our ambition in this event that World Pride in Copenhagen 2021 should include all groups in our community and that everyone should feel safe and included. This naturally is also reflected in the logo for the event, which is generic and can be used in a variation of colors and forms. It can define any group under the acronym individually or all of us under the rainbow. And it can work as explanatory pictograms for sport, human rights conferences, parties, mingling, etc. In addition to this, we draw on a long Danish tradition for being at the front when it comes to LGBTQIA rights. and we have a strong bipartisan political support for the goal of supporting LGBT+ rights at home and abroad. It is therefore a unified Denmark that asks for your trust and support today, and the opportunity, honor and privilege it would be to host World Pride 2021. So to sum this up, how will we deliver? One, by taking inclusivity to a completely new level in event planning and execution, integrating all the main tracks of the event with each other. By delivering true outreach, involving, inviting and co-financing that people from all over the world can participate, regardless of socioeconomic or human conditions. By being a genuine part of Copenhagen, this event will not merely be in Copenhagen, it will be Copenhagen. We move into the historical central institutions of the city and collaborate with everyone in and outside of the LGBTQIA community. And by bringing to life the best of Scandinavia: equality, safety, seriosity, sportsmanship, and great fun. And what is our legacy? Copenhagen 2021 will be a life-changing event and your best memory from 2021. And it will give you a genuine feeling of not being a minority for once, but a significant part of the majority throughout the week. In short, you are included. And we will make you feel the strength of our core promise, or as our Prime Minister promises it, it is all of Denmark inviting you to Copenhagen in 2021. And not only all of Denmark. I will finish this presentation by giving the last few remarks to former US Ambassador to Denmark, Mr. Rufus Gifford. All Danes have taken Rufus to heart, and he remains, even after he moved out of the ambassadorial mansion on January 20th, on the day, to be a great supporter of the Danish LGBTQIA movement, as well as a dear, dear friend. Rufus Gifford.
My name is Rufus Gifford. I am the former U.S. Ambassador to Denmark. Today, I'm speaking to you from what I consider really my adopted hometown at this point, which is Copenhagen, Denmark. And I hope very, very much that Copenhagen is granted World Pride 2021. And let me tell you a little bit why. When I first arrived in 2013, my husband and I were embraced by Danes across the country far more than we ever would have expected. Danes from the rural parts of the country and here in the city could not have embraced us anymore. Secondarily, the work that we did with the LGBTQ community from the day we set foot here was some of the most meaningful work that we did. We marched in pride parades. We worked on everything from LGBT asylum issues to transgender issues, always together.